shots as the truck drove off, hitting the vehicle but missing the two people inside. Lindsay initially told investigators the truck accelerated toward him, but surveillance footage showed the suspect was driving away.
Momentum for the removal of the death penalty building up. Yesterday, the top attorneys for Salt Lake, Utah, Summit, and Grand County sent a letter to the governor and state lawmakers urging them to pass legislation to repeal and replace the death penalty. The group says that the death penalty is simply the big lie that we tell ourselves to help us believe that we're making a difference. The Utah Medical Association is taking a stand against abortion bans. Over the weekend, the group passed a resolution against abortion bans in the first trimester, which is up to 13 weeks of pregnancy. Former members of the group say they stood more neutral on certain abortion legislation in the past, and they believe the state medical societies need to take a stance against legislation that restricts access to health care. Hey, nice day coming our way as far as the weather goes. Sunshine. We'll get our winds as we typically do, 10 to 20 miles an hour late this morning into the afternoon. Warming up in the daytime, cooling off for the nighttime. I'm trying to see the downside of that. Highs upper 80s today in the Cedar area, lower 50s tonight. St. George 100 for the high today, and near 63 for the nighttime low.
Real Salt Lake plays the San Jose Earthquakes tonight in the Bay Area. Real Salt Lake is in 7th place in the MLS Western Conference with 30 points. RSL lost to Los Angeles FC 3-2 on Sunday. That's sports.
Usually we're excited to see MJ here, Chris, but I'm not saying that.
Well, hold on. We started off sharing my political opinion of the pandemic, which probably wasn't a good start. We should just.
No, I think it was a great start.
Good morning. It's Wired Wednesday with McKenna Hansen. In studio today we have Mike Adams, who is 6th-generation farmer in the Parowan Valley. And it's an incredible opportunity every time that we have the opportunity to interview producers in the valley of their experience, their drive, their passion, and their want to continue agriculture into the future. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you get out of bed in the morning.
Awesome. Thank you for the opportunity. It's great to be here. I have been in Parowan my whole life, born and raised there. As you said, I'm a 6th-generation farmer. Our ancestors came in the 1850s with the Mormon pioneers, and we've been there farming ever since, some of the same ground. We have 5 kids, my wife and I, and 4 daughters and 1 son, so it keeps us hopping. But one of the things I love the most about being a farmer is just the ability to do what I love. When I was growing up and in school, even in elementary, I was begging my dad to let me slough school so I could go work. I always wanted to be at the farm with him, whether it was herding cows, putting up hay, shearing the sheep, didn't matter what it was, I just wanted to be at the farm.
That's awesome. And it's really interesting that at such a young age you had the passion for, I would say, growing things, developing things, moving things, and really enjoying kind of almost in a sense God's green earth.
Absolutely. That's one of the things I think I love about the farm is that at the end of the day I can look back and say, look how much hay we cut today, or look where we got those cows on the mountain today. And I'm kind of a hands-on guy. I never really enjoyed being in a classroom, different things like that. I wanted to physically be out there and doing. And that's what I love so much about the farm, is just the opportunity to be out there with my dad, my brothers and sisters, all of our family members, and now with our children. And I have a daughter that's a senior in high school and another one that's a sophomore. They stack most of our hay now. And so having them do that, we farm about 1,400 acres, and they stack most of the hay during the hay crop, which is awesome. I want them to learn as much as they can about that.
Yeah, and it's incredible. And I would say that throughout those different experiences, you learn more about yourself than you would otherwise learn about in a classroom setting or in a more traditional type, well, not traditional in the sense of, longevity, but, the higher education route, the formal education, and going through that, you learn less about yourself and more about everybody else. Where agriculture, you really step back and you have to you know, you have to learn what's going on with yourself. Like, am I angry today because the hay bale broke, and was it worth the anger to get it restrung for the 2 hours that it took or whatnot?
Absolutely. One of the things that I have learned is that you get in farming what you put into it. If you slack off on preventative maintenance on your equipment or showing up late and different things like that, it will immediately show results. And so the harder you work, the more time that you put in, the better your farm is, just like life. If you get up early and you exercise and you work hard and do all these different things, you have results all day long.
Who knew that productivity was directly linked to the individual trying? It really,
That's kind of what a bold concept.
it is a very bold concept, but at its core nature, you know, if you're trying to grow and develop and improve just yourself, that will positively impact the world, you know, and positively impact your community and your family. If you're going out and trying to do the next best thing for the greater outcome, you know, not just you selfishly, but going through and, you know, and developing the hay crop. You know, you have to till the earth, plant the seed, water, you know, cut. It's a labor intensive job, but then it goes towards benefiting your family immediately and the surrounding community and providing economic value back into the community. You buy groceries here.
Absolutely.
You know, you spend the different monies that you get from producing the crop here in this area, and then in turn, your hay crop, does your hay crop go down to the dairies in California, or does it stay local?
So both, actually. It depends
Okay.
on the year, but most of the time, well, I guess probably half and half. Sometimes it goes local, sometimes it goes to California, sometimes we export. So
Okay.
we've got lots of options. But
Right.
right now, this year, the majority of our hay is staying right here in the Parowan dairies.
Well, that's awesome, and it creates that economic value and that relationship building value, because they know that you're local. You're taking care of what you're doing at the best of your ability, and they're feeding it to their cows, which produce milk, and all of the milk, from what I understand, in Parowan Valley goes to the creamery in Beaver.
I think for the most part, that's where it goes. There's other places that if I think they don't have enough room for it, they'll go somewhere else. But I think
Right.
for the most part, you're right.
You know, so it's really
That's
great.
rewarding.
It is, and it's awesome that you have such a passion for it, and you're raising the seventh generation to have just as much passion, if not more passion, for this industry, because that industry is I wouldn't say it's going away, but the drive and the passion to stay in agriculture and to stay producing, it's sometimes a very thankless job. How do you turn around the minds of your children when they're struggling on those days?
Great question. I think one of the greatest lessons that we can learn, that if you turn outward instead of inward, you're going to be a lot happier. So if you turn outward to help, I'll say, your neighbor on the farm, there's always opportunities to help our neighbors. One of the things I love about Parowan and this whole valley, this whole area, is that people get together to help each other out. I was thinking about this show a few weeks ago, and we had a young man that passed away, Lyle Barton's son Jeremy, in 2013, passed away in a car accident. Great friend of ours, spent a lot of time herding cows with them and farming, different things like that. He passed away in a car accident, and so everybody got together in the Parowan Valley just to do something a little bit nice for Lyle and their family. And we got, I believe by that time there was 11 swathers over there on a pivot. It took about 35, 40 minutes, cut the whole thing down.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I can't tell you what that did for, I know it helped the Barton family during maybe one of the hardest times in their life.
Yeah.
But what it did for the Parowan Valley, as I talked to all the other farmers around there and just said, let's do something nice for these guys. And really it took an hour out of our day, but it changes inside. It changes your heart. It changes how you look at the world, because right now there's a ton of challenges going on, but if we turn outward to help others, whether it's our wife, our children, our neighbor, a stranger, that's where happiness is at.
How incredible! Like, I'm getting goosebumps, Mike, because it hits my heartstrings when you talk like that, because not a lot of people around here do, and it's a lost art to go out and help people, and especially, you know, in the changing dynamics of our neighborhoods, you know, in Iron County, people don't know their neighbors anymore. You know, people don't know that so and so's
Which,
grandma
by the
lives
way,
down the
is
street.
being exasperated by the society we're creating today of like we don't talk to each other.
Right.
It's horrible.
No, it is, and people can't smile at each other anymore because there's, you know, a something.
What do you mean by that?
There's something blocking, just, you know, and so it's really incredible that is instilled in your heart, and you're going out every day to try and make sure the world's a better place. And that means a lot to me because that's almost what I try to do with my business, you know, and with my family and with my neighborhood, because I truly believe in helping others and serving others. And at the core nature of me, I say that there's only two things I know how to do really well: feed people and talk to people. And I only know how to feed people because I like cooking, you know, but I'm really good at those things, but they bring people together, and they bring people together from all different walks of life. Everybody has to eat, and everybody likes to talk.
Sure.
You know, and so that's really incredible. Thank you, Mike, for sharing that. Is it too much to say it was a God thing that we needed you on the air today?
So I have a question, you know, and I only get to see the Parowan Valley for the most part blasting through at 85 miles an hour. I'm sorry, 80.
85,
never
Dr.
say that.
T?
I never would.
I don't know
Now,
any cops in
now.
Parowan, but we'll give them your license plate. Go ahead.
Okay, it's the one that says KSUB.
There
It's
you
on a big
go.
ugly truck. That's what in fact, if you could pull that over and just
Impound it.
so what? You know, when I drive through the valley, where are all the farms? I mean, because when I look off to the west, it's like sagebrush. I see some out there.
So right there at the truck stop, the Travel America truck stop.
Okay. Oh, okay.
North
Okay.
of there. Next time you go by, I'm going to give you my phone number before I leave, and I want you to come out. We'll take you for a little tour around the farm and show you. It's interesting. I have a lot of people say that, where is your farm? Where are all the farms in Parowan?
Yeah.
Well, you go straight north of the truck stop, and it's farm out there for miles on both sides of the road. The KB exit, the first Parowan exit. We own a lot of farms right there as well, down the Gap Road. But they're all over through there. But we'd love to have you come out. I love when people come to the farm. Jump in the tractors with us and go for a ride, go through the corn patch, whatever it may be.
Okay, Dave
Just
Staley
spend
once made the
time.
mistake of letting me drive a tractor. Don't do that again.
Dave Staley's a genius. I love that man. We bought one of his steamers. He's incredible.
Yeah, it is.
You know what's
grateful for
also
him.
really just, I mean, if you look at it like on a topographical map or Google map, right? If you go out through the Parowan Valley, really anything north of Summit to the
Dutch Cowboy.
Dutch Cowboy Dairy, and to the Parowan Gap, like that mountain range right there,
Uh-huh.
you can find hundreds of acres of farms, thousands of acres of farm. That's basically all farmland. There are patches of sagebrush from Summit to the Dutch Dairy.
Right.
Dutch Cowboy.
Of course. Now, you know, now that I think of it, when you get up by the Highway 20 exit,
Yeah.
That is, you're right. That is.
But that's on the east side. The
Well,
west
it's
side.
also on the west side too. That's
Yes.
where the cows are.
Yes, yes.
We've
And-
got cow.
Yes, there's a few cows, but it's really incredible how productive farms and producers have made the area that we're in. I mean, even Burro Valley. You look out, you know, you drive down 56. You're like, oh, there's a couple of pivots and mostly sagebrush and a few dead trees, because you know they used to plant, I think something elders or something. Anyways, but you look on a aerial map of them. And there are thousands of acres under pivots. Some are resting, some are not, you know, but it's incredible. It's incredible the area that people have seen a vision for.
I love that I think about when our ancestors came, there was no pumps, no electricity. They had to drill. Our family owns 3,200 acres of private property below the Yankee, north of the Yankee, where we run our cows in the summer. So in the 1920s, our ancestors tunneled a hole through the mountain, 1,600 feet long, to get water to Parowan. And they drug a steam engine up the mountain with horses to run a jackhammer to get this hole through the mountain. That's how they got water back then.
Wow.
And so when people talk about, oh, it's hard to do this, it's hard to do that, it's all about a perspective. It may be hard for you right now, but if my great-great-great-grandpa saw what we were doing, we call up somebody and say, we need a new well drilled, and yes, you give them $150,000, but A lot of times we just write out the check, they do the rest. We hook up the pipe and away we go.
Right.
So it's all about perspective. If you look back at some of the challenges that those guys had and some of the stuff that we have, yeah, we have some challenges in front of us, but we have thousands and thousands of blessings and opportunities right here before us, opportunities to do good every single day, and a few challenges. That's my perspective. There's a few challenges out there, but we have way more opportunities to do good than anything else.
I love this attitude. I can't tell you how much I love this attitude because, it sounds like to me that when you're out doing the work on your acreage, that you still feel a sense of purpose in the things you do.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think being there with our children now, my parents are on a mission in Pennsylvania right now, and to see them gone now, but to see my children come down and maybe fulfill that role a little bit that my dad did to a certain extent, that is extremely rewarding. And to be able to give back and to help, and there's a lot of people that are going through challenges right now, but there's so many opportunities to help them. And I think that's what gets me up in the morning. I don't think I ever fully answered your question about that.
That's okay, Mike. That's okay.
That's what gets me up in the morning. We love the farm. We love the animals. But the opportunity to get up and to help and to serve and to give back, to work around Heavenly Father's creations all day long, I'm the happiest man around because we're able to do that and to be able to day in, day out. And I'm not going to paint a picture to tell you that I'm happy 24/7 and it's the perfect job. For me, it is. For me, it is the perfect job. I absolutely love it. You couldn't pay me enough to do anything else. But there's challenges that go with it. But I like that it's hard.
But you still contribute to the greater purpose and create your happiness and want to give back and want to develop this world into a positive aspect for your children. See, now you don't know this about me, and that's okay. But my family was Joneses, and we developed the Cedar Valley in 1852 as you guys were developing the Parowan Valley.
Awesome.
So had my grandfather been able to stay in agriculture in the late 70s, early 80s, then I would have been seventh generation.
Wow.
Into this, but circumstances and things. But some of
So
our
have you dug a 1,500-foot tunnel to bring water to your?
no, my ancestors donated the university farm. They owned all of that acreage through there, and they took a leadership role in the community where we had a few different positions where they were in agriculture and things, but my ancestors were one of the first sets of mayors that Cedar City had in a formal political capacity.
It sounds like in listening to really both of you, you have discovered one of the great secrets of life that took me much too long to discover, because I always had this part of life and this part of life. If you can understand, there's
Sure.
a division. Like there's this side of me and there's this side of me. And this side of me is go to work, make money. And this side of me is other stuff, like benefiting people and things of that nature. And there was always a wall between the two. It sounds to me like actually both of you have decided that wall is a myth. And that if you're doing things correctly, this side can impact this side, and this side can impact this side. And so that even if you're earning money in things that you love doing, like I love being on the radio, even if you're earning money doing that, it still can be a benefit and a service to other people.
Absolutely, and I would mirror that, because if you're doing what you love, then it will show, and you can incorporate all of the happiness that you create through there into all the aspects of your life. Because I am an active mother and an active wife, and I participate in those relationships, I'm able to go to work and benefit families around me through the insurance products that I can offer. I can protect farms and producers, from their worst day to their happiest day, type of a thing. And that brings me joy in making sure that I'm serving my community in the most positive, impactful way that I can. Because if I'm not positively impacting this world, I'm negatively impacting it by not taking action, by not doing what I was called to do by some greater power than myself.
And when you say you get to, I mean, you get the benefit too of working, as you said, working with God's creations. And I have to tell you, I've gotten, and Chris will tell you, I've gotten very sloppy as far as getting emotionally entangled with animals, because I'm at the point now, if I see a cow or a dog, or especially, some of the things, okay, I'm still not into snakes. So if I see a dead snake, I'm okay with that. But, if I see, a deer that's been in, I kind of have a little bit of grief, actually.
Yeah. I enjoy the animals. That's one of my favorite things. The horses, the dogs,
Oh, yeah.
pigs, cows, all of the above. It's just a neat thing. And when those calves start hitting the ground in February, you're down there at 2 o'clock in the morning checking calves and it's below zero. There's something miraculous about seeing that calf hit the ground on frozen ice ground and struggle and fall down. It's those life lessons. It's just those little things that, like, hey man, keep going. You're going to be fine. The sun's coming up in the morning. Get up on your feet and start walking. And we're there to help them. There's a lot of times that we're there to help them. There's something awesome about that just hits me right in the heart.
I've often said if you can deal with the afterlife, I've often said, yeah, hanging out with family and all that'll be nice, but put me off with the animals somewhere. The only thing I've started to think, well, do you have to clean up animal stuff after in heaven, or is it?
I think they do their own up there.
Do they? Okay,
That's what I've been hearing.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay.
And we're running short on time. But Mike, thank you so much for joining us today on Wired Wednesday and telling us your story and why you are passionate about what you do, because it truly is a lost art to have this much love and passion for producing, and having the respect for it, and this show is all about education and making sure people are aware of everything. So thank you, Mike, for
and
that.
let's educate people how they can get a hold of
yes,
you, MJ.
and this is McKinnon Hansen with Farm Bureau Financial Services. My phone number is 435-592-2021, and my motto, protecting the past by preserving the future. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, MJ, we'll see you next week. Appreciate that.